Now, boys and girls, this is taken from a storybook called Tales from Storyland that your mothers and daddies loved so much. And I'm going to read you about three of them out of this one. The first one is called The Bremen Town Musicians. A farmer lived near the town of Bremen. He had a donkey who had been a hard-working animal, but now he was growing old and weak with age. And one day the old donkey was eating grass near the farmhouse, and he heard his master say, "Old Hee-Haw is getting too old. Tomorrow I'm going to market and sell him to the tanner. With what he gives me for the skin, and a little more, I can buy me a younger donkey." Poor old Hee-Haw, he began to shiver and shake, but suddenly he threw up his head. "Why should I be sold to the tanner?" he said to himself. "Age has not harmed my voice. I'm going to Bremen town. In that town everyone loves music, and I can become a musician. I could earn my living that way." Feeling much better, the old donkey started down the road toward Bremen town. After a while, he stopped for a few bites of grass by the side of the road. Now, lying by the grass was a dog, panting very hard. "Why do you pant so, my friend?" asked Hee-Haw. "And what is your name?" "My name is Bruno," replied the dog. "For years I've guarded my master's house. I'm old now, and my sight is not sharp enough for him. And I overheard him telling his wife he was going to knock me on the head and get a younger dog." Can you believe people doing things like that? "So I ran away, but now I don't know where to go or how to earn my living." "Can you still bark?" asked the donkey. "Oh, yes," the dog replied. "Bow, wow, wow." "You have a fine deep note," said Hee-Haw. "Join me and go to Bremen town. There we can make our living as musicians." Up jumped the old dog, and side by side the two animals trotted toward Bremen town. A little farther along they came to a place where a cat was sitting in the middle of the road, looking very sad. "What is troubling you, Mistress Cat?" asked Hee-Haw. "I'm homeless and hungry," said the cat. "For years I caught the mice in my mistress's house, but now I can't move quickly enough and they get away from me, and I heard her say that she was going to tie a stone around my neck and drop me in the river, so I ran away, but I don't know how to find a bite to eat." "Can you still meow?" asked the donkey. "Oh, yes," replied the cat. "Meow." "That's a very sweet tone," said the donkey, "and should make excellent harmony with my bray and Bruno's bark. We are going to Bremen town to earn our living as musicians. Won't you come and join us?" "Thank you," said the cat. "My name is Felix, and I shall be glad to meow with you." Soon they passed a farmyard where a rooster was perched on top of the barn. "Cock-a-doodle-doo," he crowed, flapping his wings. "Why are you crowing so loudly?" asked the donkey. "Because tomorrow will be my last day to crow. I heard the mistress say she was getting tired of me waking her up at 4 o'clock every morning, and she was going to put me in the pot to eat." People do terrible things, don't they? "In that case," said Hee-Haw, "why don't you come along with us? You have a beautiful cock-a-doodle-doo. What is your name?" "My name is Chanticleer." "All right, Chanticleer, join us. We're going to Bremen town. We're going to be musicians." Now the four of them went along very happily till it got dark. Then they tried to lie down on the ground, but they couldn't seem to get very comfortable, and they were very hungry. Finally, the donkey looked up and he said, "Do you know, I can see a light through those trees. Now, where there's a light, there has to be a house, and where there's a house, there's usually a barn. Let's see if we can at least find more comfortable quarters for the night." So they set off through the forest, and in a few minutes came to the house. "I'm the tallest," said Hee-Haw. "I will go very softly to the window and see what's inside." He walked to the window and looked into the room. Then he walked back to the place where his friends were standing. "There are 4 terrible-looking robbers in there," he prayed very softly. On the table there are piles of gold and jewels, and there was all sorts of good things to eat and to drink. Oh, but how are we going to get any of it? I have an idea, said Hee-Haw. Now all of you listen carefully. I want you, Brother Bruno, to climb up on my back, right up by my ears, very quietly now. And you, Felix, are to jump on top of Bruno. And you, Chanticleer, are to perch high on the top of the windowsill. And when I say it's time, I will bray as loudly as I can. Bruno will bark as loudly as he can. Felix will meow as loudly as she can. And Chanticleer, we need your loudest cock-a-doodle-doo. All on signal they started. What in the world is that? Shouted the robbers, and all four sprang up from the table in great fear. With a whir of his wings, Chanticleer flew in and put out the light. Felix came after him with a hiss. Bruno followed with a growl, and old Hee-Haw jumped through the window with a loud bray and a clatter of hoofs against the window frame. The robbers were so frightened they ran out of the house and didn't stop until they had put a full mile between themselves and the terrible noises that had come upon them so suddenly. The gold can wait, said Hee-Haw, sitting down to the table. I'm hungry. So am I, said Bruno, taking his place at the other end. Felix sat on the side and Chanticleer on the other, and when they got up again there was little left of the robbers' feast. Now, said the donkey, I'm going to drag in a bunch of hay and lie here by the door. This thick rug will be my bed, said the dog. And I'll sleep on the warm hearth, purred the cat. That rafter near the ceiling will make a perfect perch for me, crowed the rooster. Meanwhile, the robbers had run until they were tired out. What are we running away from anyway? Asked one of them as they came to a stop. Oh, it had to be a troop of hobgoblins, said another. Yes, it had to be. I've never heard such horrible noises in my life, said the first. Well, hobgoblins or no hobgoblins, said the fourth, I'm going back for my gold and jewels. I didn't go to all the trouble to steal those just to lose them. Now the four robbers walked back through the forest. When they reached the house, all was still and dark. They've probably gone, said one, whoever they were. Well, I'll go in first, said the fourth robber, and you all come very close behind me. He groped around until he found a candle. The fire's nearly out, he called, but there are a few sparks that will be enough to light the candle. He marched boldly to the fireplace, but what he took for sparks were the fiery eyes of Felix, glaring through the darkness. As he stooped, the cat sprang with a hiss and buried her claws in his arm. The robber screamed and turned to run out of the door, but as he turned, he stepped on Bruno's tail. The old dog growled and bit him in the leg. Then Chanticleer flew down and pecked his neck. As he came to the doorway, Hee-Haw kicked out with his hind leg and landed the robber on his back outside the door. Oh, my, they had fixed that poor robber, hadn't they? Terribly frightened, they all ran away as fast as they could, and they never dared go back to that house again. Jewels, gold, or no jewels or gold. The four musicians settled down in comfort. With the gold and the jewels the robbers had left, they were able to buy all the food they needed, so they never went to Bremen town after all. But once a year they give a concert for their own pleasure. They stand by the window, and as they did on the night when they were so frightened the robbers, and as the donkey nods his head, all together they begin, hee-haw, hee-haw, bow, wow, wow, bow, wow, wow, meow, meow, cock-a-doodle-doo.